Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is David and I talk about books, mostly Stephen King, but other novels as well. I like horror, fantasy, sci-fi, and all that type of things. I like to read stuff that is outside of my comfort zone. And the novel I will be talking about today, if you've just clicked on this video blind, but you should know because you probably looked at the thumbnail and decided to click on this video, is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Riordan. I'm not sure if I've said his surname right, but yeah. I'm new to this series and this author's work. Obviously, I've heard of this series before. I picked this one up at my local train station because they have a shelf there where you can get free books. So it's all secondhand, so people will just drop off books and you can pick up books for free. You don't have to pay for them. And this was one that I saw. So some of my subscribers wanted me to talk about this book because it's a book that they find enjoyment in and they like this novel, and they probably want to get my opinion and thoughts towards it. This book was published on the 28th of June 2005, and there was a movie based on it by the same name in 2010. I haven't seen the movie, so if you're looking for a comparison between the novel and the movie, I don't even honestly know if I've seen the movie or not, but I am aware of it. So this is not going to be a comparison video saying, this happened in the movie, but this didn't happen in the book, or vice versa. So this is going to be purely a review on just the book itself. Do I have any interest in watching the movie after reading the novel? Not really. If I see it free on Netflix, well, it's obviously going to be free on Netflix. If I see it on Netflix or if it's on TV, or if my brother gets it on DVD and Blu-ray and I've got nothing else to do, then sure, I will watch it. But I'm not going to go out and buy it or go out my way and buying it. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. If it's something that you enjoy watching, that's fine. But for me, this is kind of a middle of the road book. There are some parts of it I liked, some parts of it I didn't like, but I'll go through that in more detail in my likes and dislikes section. So, as always, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to spoil anything from the story overall because I want you guys to go into this novel fresh, especially if you're trying to get into the Percy Jackson series. This is going to be my thoughts and opinions towards this novel. So please remember that going forward, your thoughts and opinions are going to be different than mine, obviously. So yeah, just the storyline. If I haven't mentioned it before, this is a YA book, which is a young adult novel, and it is fantasy, and it encompasses loads of Greek mythology, such as Zeus, Poseidon, and all them Greek gods. So the story opens up with our main character, who, if you forget while you're reading the book, you can just look on the cover and you can remember what his name is. So we are introduced to our main character, Percy Jackson, who is a young teenage boy. And he is currently on a field trip in a museum where his teacher is talking to him and his classmates about all these Greek gods, as I said, like Poseidon and Zeus and Hades and all that type of thing. Percy isn't. He tries to be a good kid. He really is a good kid, but he gets into trouble a lot, which isn't his fault. He does get picked on quite a bit throughout this book, and there is and whenever he's around water, like water fountains or lakes, he does things that is very strange. He can control water, but he finds for example, when a bully's picking on him, he gets the water and he pushes the bully away from him without even realizing he's doing it. He has a best friend called Grover, who is It's okay. He he's like his best friend, and then one day we find out that Percy is in danger. We have all these strange creatures that are hunting him down, and that he has to try to survive this. And we also find out about his home life as well, about his mother, who he loves extremely much. I mean, Percy is actually ridiculous about how much Percy loves his mother in this novel. And and his mother has this stepfather or step-husband or whatever, called Gabe. Gabe orders Percy's mother around. He is a man's man. He says he actually plays. He sits down for most of the book playing poker with his friends. You know, drinking, smoking, probably burping and doing all that type of things, and being all this big muscly man. You know. And he and he shouts to Percy's mum saying, "Oh, where's this? Or get this?" And you're like, "Well, get up off your arse and get it yourself." When Percy and his mother say to Gabe, "Oh, that we'll be going out to a trip near a lake and staying in a cabin," Gabe says, "Oh well, you can use the car, but make sure that you only drive there and back only. Don't go anywhere else." And he tells her that the money that she'll have to actually finance this trip will come out of her clothing allowance. And at that moment, I said, "What an a-hole." Obviously, I can't say what I actually physically said because I'll probably get into trouble on YouTube or BookTube. But Gabe is extremely unlikable. I've actually never disliked a character so much in a novel, even Stephen King novels. He is really unlikable, but he's not in this book much. He's only in it at the beginning for a little bit and at the end. So that's a plus. So while Percy and his mother are in this cabin on this holiday, and they get attacked, and Percy and Grover and his mother are chased by this big minotaur, which is a half man, half bull type of creature. And they go and are chased, and Percy finds refuge in this camp, which is called Camp Half-Blood, where all of these kids, like male and females, that are essentially the sons and daughters of Greek gods, you know, like Poseidon and Hades and Athena or whatever, because I'm not really familiar, or Medusa or stuff like that. I'm not really familiar with Greek mythology, so apologies for that. And also Apollo as well, and it's kind of like it's more or less like Hogwarts, but in a camp setting. So you have all these different buildings that are like representing of Greek gods. So you got like, you know, like Medusa, and you got like Apollo and Ares, and each of these cabins houses all of the children that God, you know, had, whether it's by having relationships with mortal men or mortal women, and the purpose of this camp is to try to train these kids up, not, you know, to try to make them kind of warriors and to try to make them feel wanted. Think of a cross between Hogwarts and Professor X's mansion in the X-Men franchise. That's pretty much what Camp Half-Blood is. And then you have these 3 cabins, which are completely empty. No one lives in them, and they are classified as the Big Three, which these gods are Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, which are brothers. And they made a pact saying, right, because we've had all these wars and arguments about us having kids with mortals, we won't do that anymore. We will stop having kids with these mortals because it's causing us all these fights and trouble amongst ourselves. And, you know, so they'll stop. They've made a promise with themselves. And as I said, they are regarded as the big three, and that's why their cabins are empty. So Percy, when he's in Camp Half-Blood, he tries to come to terms with his environment and his situation, and trying to save his mother because his mother has been trapped and taken to the underworld, to Hades. And he's trying to come to terms with all this. And at this point, he doesn't know whose son he is or who his father is, or what Greek god his father is, and he's trying to figure out who his real dad is. And so are the counselors and the people in charge of this camp. And as the story progresses, we find out that Percy is in fact one of the sons of the big three, who his father is Poseidon, the god of the sea. We find out that there is a girl at this camp called Annabeth, who constantly refers to him as Seaweed Brain when she finds out that he's the son of Poseidon. And Percy also finds out that Grover is kind of a half goat, half human type of creature. He, from the waist down, he has goat legs, and he constantly eats loads of stuff like tin cans. Eats a lot, and he eats loads of stuff in this novel as well. But I mean, he is a good character. All the characters in this are good. They don't really develop as much as Percy, but they are okay. They aren't terrible. They aren't great, but they are good. So we find out that Percy has been accused of stealing Zeus's lightning bolts, which you can see on the cover. Which in the novel it is called the Master Bolts. Now we find out that gods can't steal other gods' power items. So Zeus accuses Percy of stealing his Master Bolt in order maybe to impress his dad, or maybe Poseidon asked Percy to steal Zeus's bolts. So Percy goes on a quest with Annabeth and Grover to try to clear his name. They automatically think that Hades has stolen the Master Bolts in order to go back into war with his two brothers, Poseidon and Zeus. So along the journey, it's kind of like jumpy, because one moment we're in Los Angeles, and then in the other part we're in Las Vegas, and it jumps around a lot, and you're like wondering, okay, well, where am I now? I mean, you're in the story. I mean, what country or location am I now in? So when they do get to the underworld and see Hades, I actually love the underworld. By the way, in this novel, it is described so well, especially for a horror fan. It is so good. I would love to go there, and it's really good. We actually find out that it's kind of like a it's interesting about who we can. I mean, it's actually interesting to actually find out who has actually stolen Zeus's Master Bolt, because that's the main story. I mean, the main plot of this book, and for Percy to actually find out, because as I said, gods can't steal other gods' powers or power objects. So automatically we assume that it is a mortal or a demigod, these sons of these gods that may probably have actually stolen it, whether it's for themselves or for one of the gods to create a war or whatever. So we try to find out what their motivations are, and it is a rush for Percy, because he wants to go to the underworld to rescue his mother, who, that's his main goal. He doesn't care much about his dad or being accepted by Poseidon, his father, and or getting to know him. his main focus is to get into the underworld, rescuing his finding the Master Bolt to return it to Zeus and rescuing his mother. That is his main motivation. The book really ends, I won't say how it ends, but it ends really good. It actually ends with a really good twist that you don't see coming. Yeah, that's the main story for Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. What I liked about the book, it is very easy to read. Being a YA book, it is very easy to read. It isn't boring whatsoever with all the Greek gods in it. It isn't It's not really educational. You'll get to know all these gods and their powers and all that type of things, but it isn't an educational book about Greek gods. I do like Percy as a character. He's probably my favourite character in the book. I mean, as I said, Grover and Annabeth are okay. I did actually like Luke. He's one of the camp counselors in Camp Half-Blood, aka Hogwarts camp. But yeah, the story was okay. My dislikes about it was that it kind of, as I said, it kind of jumped around a lot with locations. And I mean, would I read it again? It's not a terrible book. Would I read it again? Yeah, I mean, where my TBR pile goes down, yeah, well, I might pick it up again. Would I read the rest of the series? I'm in no rush to get the series or buy them. When we come out of lockdown, when I go into secondhand books stores again, if I see the other books or the next book in the series, which is the Sea of Monsters novel, if I do see that novel in the secondhand bookstores, then yeah, sure, I'll pick it up. But I'm in no rush to continue the series. Although I do want to make it perfectly clear, I didn't hate this book. I didn't hate it. It was middle of the road. It was average. I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it. It was what it was. I'm trying to make sense, guys. Closing thoughts. If you're interested in YA books or fantasy or Greek gods or combination of all three, I would give Percy Jackson a go. Yeah. And I give Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief a 3 stars out of 5. So the next book I'll be reading and talking about is Shirley Jackson. We have always lived in the castle. I'm planning to do a vlog about this. So something different I'm trying to do on my channel. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Watch my other videos as well, and stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading. And I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye.